Hey everyone, in this video we are going to have a look at these pipeline tools that we have developed for FBX based real-time rendering system. In this video I'm going to show you all the tools that we have. We are not going to focus too much on how they work individually because then it will be a very long video, but we will just have a look at all the tools that we have and how they are connected with each other. We also have tools for Unreal Engine in similar way, which are used for a lot of automation over there also, but these tools provide us ways to automate things inside Maya and also enhancing the workflow of artists so they can work faster, which helps in reducing the cost of production a lot and also making the production faster. Let's start by looking at the first one, set active project. This is similar to the set project option of Maya, but this is for the tools that we have. It tells the tools which project we are working on currently because it can handle any number of projects. You can have any number of projects with this one pipeline system. For example, we have 3 here right now, and we can set an active project from here. You will see this green strip mostly on the top of each and every tool. Here we have the name of the project and the basic settings of the project. This is to make sure that artist is always aware which project they are working on. If I switch it from here, it will update here accordingly. Now we are working on this project and everything in other tools will be updated according to this project. If we go to asset tool, that will show the assets from this project. If we go to shorts tool, that will show the episodes from this project only. After that, let's first of all look at some admin related tools, and these admin tools are for managing permissions and managing projects. So user permission tools, it is a very simple way to add an extra layer of protection to tools in terms of access. Here right now we have just one user. All the users in local area network need different level of permission. Then we can use their usernames to provide them one of these permissions. Then we have project creation tool. This can be used to create a new project or edit settings for an existing project also. Here we enter the name and basic settings of the project, and then we just add it. It will create a basic folder structure with all the configuration files for the project. From there we can start working on the project. Then it will appear in the list also. Then we have option to add a new episode. So it is already showing us the list of episodes that we have in this project, and we can add another episode here. The nice thing about all these tools is they validate what you are entering. Enter a name that is not following the pipeline rules, they will tell you exactly what you need to change, so you do not make any mistakes. Then we have asset list manager. This will show all the assets that a project will be using. Now here we can add these assets, we can remove them, we can manage them, we can rename them, whatever we want to do. Automated way to do that is when we start a project, we can just prepare a CSV file with asset list in a predefined format. We add all the assets in one CSV file. Then we can just import that CSV file here and all the assets will be updated here. Or we can do that one by one from these categories. These assets will later be used by different tools for managing them, opening them, saving them, all those things. Similarly, we have a shortlist manager also, and shortlist we do not need to create ourselves. It will be created automatically when we generate layout files. But in case we need to update the shortlist later, this tool is useful. If I go to any of these episodes, we will see the existing shots that we have and their duration here. We can add shots or we can delete shots from here. Then we move on to asset related tools, and here first of all we have asset work, a dogged layout like attribute editor or channel box editor. So that is because we are going to use these tools more often and we do not need to keep accessing them again and again, so we can just dog them right next to our UI. We have save options, open options, quick save, that will do a one click save, and all these things are validated. There are no chances of making any mistakes. Now if I go to save asset as, and here I have list of all the assets that we have already added inside the asset list. So artists do not need to type anything, they can just select here, and for one first save operation you have to select it from here. After that, for subsequent saves you can just do single click save. Similarly, for open asset we can either open the workspace assets or published assets. Another thing, wherever you see this icon, folder or path, it appears next to When you click it, you will be taken to that folder only. Then we have some workflow related tools here. For cleanup tools, we have these cleanup operations. We can delete unnecessary things, we can optimize our file, or we can check for incorrect topologies also. Namespace related stuff is also here. Then hierarchy and naming stuff. This is to make sure the file structure follows the pipeline rules without making it harder for artists. They can just do one click operation and hierarchy is set up automatically, excuse me. And then we have suffix and prefix operations, add asset codes automatically, and we can also rename asset codes. More about this in future videos. Then we have some texturing tools. These are work in progress. We are going to update and add a lot more here, but these are very powerful in saving a lot of time. We can just export texture maps with correct naming, and with single click we can just connect them to materials and have them copied to the correct location for texture files. Then we have rigging tools. Here we have a few options, and I'm not going to be going through them one by one, but in short, we have some quick rig options here, single click operations for prop rigs of different kinds, which will take 5 to 10 seconds to rig a prop. Then we have hierarchy maintenance related options. Then we have some basic rigging operations that we use again and again, and which can be time saving. Then we have some advanced auto riggers and blend shape extractors also. The plan is to also create a modular rigging system, but that is obviously a big undertaking and will take some time, but we are working on that also. As we are using FBX pipeline, we have some FBX specific tools also. And here one tool I would like to highlight. We have a tool to convert low LOD rigs to their high LOD versions with a single click. This tool is very useful for saving a lot of time. That allows us to make sure both the rigs are exactly the same, and we can just use the low LOD rig to export the animation inside Maya, but inside Unreal Engine we can use the high LOD rig to render it, and because the rigs are same, the animation can be applied seamlessly. Then we have some MetaHuman related tools also. This is also going to be updated, but these are to automate the export and import of MetaHuman from Maya to Unreal. The export mechanism that we will look at later, that already has the MetaHuman export included. If we are exporting a MetaHuman character, it will switch the export settings accordingly, and everything will be seamless. Let's now look at FBX Asset Export. This tool is to export FBX assets for rendering inside Unreal Engine. This will obviously use high LOD rigs to export. We can optionally use low also, but it is recommended to obviously use high LOD rigs. We can export one or more assets at once. We just hit export, select it. Only joints and geometry is exported with the skin and blend shape information. All the rig related things, constraints and everything will be obviously ignored. So the exports will be clean. Many of you must have noticed when the artists do not know how to properly export the FBX animation, they mostly export a lot of clutter also. So with correct hierarchy combined with this automated FBX export, we make sure the files are exported in most efficient way with correct settings. Next we have validate exported assets. This tool is just to validate the exported assets in case we want to make sure there is no problem. If you find any problems and you want to troubleshoot where it went wrong, you can just validate the assets from here. Now let's look at layout generator. This is completely automated. This can generate layout files for an episode with a single click. We just select the episode. It will automatically update the sound folder here for that episode. It will go through each sound file, import them in a new file, and set up everything accordingly, checking the project settings. Everything is set up so the artist can directly start working on it. Additionally, we also have an option to include assets using a CSV file. If we want, we can also prepare CSV files for each episode containing shot number and which assets that shot is going to use in a predefined format obviously. And if we also plug in that file here, it will also import references while generating the layout files. Then we have short work related tools. There are a bunch of them. Let's start with asset referencing. This is to add references, and we can obviously use create references also from file create reference, but here we can reference multiple at once. They are categorized. We can use low or high LOD. We can also import camera reference here. Similarly, we can use replace references. If we had any references in the shot, they will be listed here, and we can select them and replace them with whatever we want to replace them with. We can remove them. Again, this can be done with traditional tools also, but this is a nicer way to quickly do that. Then we have animation tools. So it has options to save and open shots similar to assets that we looked at earlier. Again, if we click at this folder, it takes us to the episode folder. If I open any layout file from here, it is already saved with correct name, so when we have to save this file, we can just go to the department and save it. It will keep incrementing the file as I keep hitting the save shot option. When we want to publish it, we can go to save asset as and then publish the shot from here if we want to manually publish it. We also have a Playblast option here. It automates everything. You do not need to worry about heads up display, Playblast settings and everything. Everything is taken care of with the UI. Let me just show you an old Playblast. For that, we also have a tool called Playblast Viewer. We can access all the Playblasts right from inside Maya itself, and if I go to any of the shots, let's say here, it will list all the versions of a shot. We can pick whichever version we want to play, and we just double click it. Here, heads up display has a lot of information about the shot, which we do not need to worry about. It will be done automatically when we create Playblast. It will hide all the heads up display that is already on the screen and then apply the heads up display that we need. Then once the Playblast is completed, it will switch back to the original state. There are some options which are kind of self-explanatory. We will have a greater look at this when we focus specifically on these tools. We also have bake options here, which we are going to add soon. So we have already looked at Playblast Viewer. Similarly, we have Animatic Viewer. We can select. Right now we do not have any animatic videos here with correct naming, so it is not showing up. But once we add the animatic breakdowns videos to the correct location, then they will show up here and we can just play them from here only. Then we have Export FBX Animation tool. This tool is going to export FBX Animation. Right now I have opened a shot that has a correct file name, so these options became available to us. We can use them right now. If I go to export camera, I can export the camera for this shot. But if we have a shot that is not having a correct name, then these will become disabled. So that is one thing to keep in mind. And here we have option to switch all the LODs to high LOD rig, export all assets inside this file, or selected assets. We can export camera separately. We can also export Maya ASCII camera if we need, and then from here we can export either all assets inside the current shot or selected asset. We can select them from the list here. Then we have a batch publish tool. This tool can be used to publish scene files for batch export or Playblast files for lineup and editing purposes. So we select an episode and we can just go with all shots or selected shots, whichever we want to publish. Then we publish them. This will publish the latest version of these shots or Playblasts, whatever we have picked. After we have published the files, we can batch export them using this tool, and this tool is again a one-click batch export operation. We just select the episode, it will find all the shots. These are the published files that we have. Which are the ones that you want to export the animation for? We can go for all shots or we can go for selected shots. We can select for, some shots from here, and then we can either export cameras only or we can export cameras and FBX animations also for all the assets. So why do we need to export cameras only? In case we want to parallelly light and animate at the same time. After the layout process is completed and logged mostly, we can export the cameras and start lighting while the animation team is working on animation. That gives us a head start in lighting, which helps in improving quality. Here we can switch LODs again if we want to, which we don't necessarily need to always, but in case we want, we can do that from here. And we can also add handle frames. These are frames that will be added before and after the actual duration of the shot. And in case we want to export my ASCII camera, we can do it from here also. Once we hit batch export, it will take some time obviously, because there are that depends on the number of shots and how heavy they are, but it will open the shots one by one and export the FBX animation with correct settings. Now this saves us a lot of time. Imagine you have 100 or 50 shots in one single episode and you need to export them. Either you ask the team to export them one by one, that takes a lot of time for them. There are chances of mistakes being made, but when we automate all these things, we can just publish the shots and we can hit export while we leave the office during the evening, and we come back next day and we get all the shots exported. From here, let's move on to next one, and now we have validate exported shot. This is to validate the exported animation, whether everything that we exported is working correctly or not. We can just select the shot and build it. What this will do, it will re-import the exported FBX files, FBX animation files I mean, and re-import the camera that we exported and rebuild the shot so that we can look at it inside Maya and make sure everything was exported correctly. Because if any problems have occurred during export, they will be easily identified in this stage only. And as you can see, it has rebuilt the shot from FBX files. These are not actual rigs, these are exported FBX files with just the geometry and joints and blend shape information and the camera. So quite handy to make sure what we are sending over to the next department is correct. So that concludes the tools for now. Then we have some documentation here. Documentation is for pipeline and tools separately. Pipeline documentation will be having information about the rules that the pipeline should follow, and tools documentation is specifically talking about each and every tool in detail and how they are supposed to be used, what they can do, what are the things that we need to keep in mind while using them. So that is all for now. These tools are primarily for saving time. Saving time means saving budget, making lives of artists easier, allows them to focus more on quality, and faster turnaround with better quality is what everyone is looking for. In case you are interested in knowing more about these tools, or have any suggestions also, they are welcome. Then please let us know. And for individual tool breakdowns, you can follow us. We will be posting updates about each and every tool in detail individually later in future. We already have some, you can check them in our channel. So thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.